Should we get rolling? Yeah. Chin wagging. Good morning, everyone. If you want to grab a seat, plenty up the front, plenty on the sides.
Come on down. It's not a comedy show. You won't get heckled if you sit in the front row.
What are you saying about my dad jokes? Come on.
I said what I said, Scott.
See about that. All right. Welcome to Morning Startup, everybody. Who hasn't been to Morning Startup before? All right.
Welcome. Exciting.
Awesome. Welcome. So, well, we are a meetup group for entrepreneurs, startup folks in WA. We try and put this on as often as we can, so every 2 weeks.
Literally rain, hail or shine.
Exactly, that's right. We also have another one, Founder Sundowner, which I'll show you in a sec, but that's in the evening, and that's on the first Wednesday of every month. And if you
Today's
are
the
awake,
first Wednesday
then,
of the month.
You'll know that's tonight. Yeah,
Today,
pinch
for
and a
those
bunch.
who, looked at their calendar.
Free pizza.
Free pizza, but buy your own drinks. Yeah.
Courtesy of our sponsors.
Priced drinks. So this is us organised. We're all founders. We've started businesses ourselves, and that's why we do this, because we like talking with other founders. Because this is a bit of a lonely path, and sometimes just talking the shit with other founders is what you need to get through the day. So welcome. Hopefully you're in that space.
Fantastic. All right, so for those who haven't been here before, one of the most important things as a founder is getting really good at your shameless plugs and announcements for what you're working on. So what we do is we open up the mic, so you're not just hearing from us about what you're working on that's of relevance to the community. So who wants to show us how it's done?
Hey, good morning everybody. I'm Mark from Xperia Growth, and I just want to quickly talk about AI. Because we're all founders and we're all time poor, and AI is the cheapest advisor in the room, right? You can get it to tell you how to do research and development tax, all your IP stuff, legal documents, but there's a catch. So this Friday, 12 o'clock, we're running an event that's called Non-Coding Use of AI, an easy way to kill your business, right? And we have Grant Pestle, the Senior Manager from MPH Lawyers. We have Stefan Patterson from Integrated IP. We have Mark Thompson from BDO talking about the R&D stuff. I'll be talking, and we have our very own Bright Chi, who's again not here today, who's going to explain how to reduce some of those risks in the first place. So if you're free, come to it. If you want to find the link to it, sorry Scott, head to the Xperia Growth LinkedIn page, and there's a post there. Click on that. Thanks very much.
And there's always the Slack group as well to drop links in.
Yes.
All right, who's next?
Who wants to do a shameless plug?
Fantastic.
Announcement,
Hello.
anything you like.
Morning guys, I'm Adam, I'm co-founder of Brio Brand and Culture, so we're a strategy-led brand and culture consultancy that builds businesses people truly believe in and want to be part of inside and out. The way that we do that is by aligning internal culture and external brand. My reason for the shameless plug today is that we are considering building a light version of our brand offering, specifically for startups and scale-ups. So if you're kind of interested in that minimal viable brand and what that might look like for your business and willing to share feedback, be really keen to speak to you. Thisisbrio.com in terms of the website.
Excellent. Woo.
How's that for a marking? Good call to action, isn't that? Spot on. All right, we've got another lovely player here.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Josh. I'm on the team of Mark's AI. Thank you so much for vibe coding. It keeps cybersecurity busy. So I work for a cybersecurity consulting firm. If you want to bring your vibe code from dev, test, prod combined into a more reasonable, safe area, call me and talk to me. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Josh. Woo. Good job.
Have we got time for one more?
Any other shameless plugs? Yes.
All right, fantastic.
One of the new faces too.
Hello everyone, my name is Saskia Pickles. I have a business I just started called Everyday Discovery, and I am a private investigator. So I'm interested in meeting people who need to find people who either owe them money or people they need to get in contact with that they can't find themselves, or who are looking for hidden assets. I can help you find them.
Hidden assets.
Ooh, I've not had a private investigator before. How exciting.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Excellent. I feel like we need a theme song, like maybe PI or something. Cool.
I
Welcome.
think Adam could
Thanks
come
again.
up with a really cool brand for that, couldn't he?
Alrighty. Well, assuming there's no more shameless plugs, we'll move along. We're going to have half an hour of networking at the end of this too, so please get to know each other and all of that good stuff. Mesh Points, they're a cool organisation here in Perth that are sort of promoting the startup ecosystem and trying to get everything happening. So if you've got ideas on how the startup ecosystem could work better, what you need as far as funding or whatever, go along to this event. Or scan the QR code. It's on Humanitics if you want to search for it. And they're looking for ways, it's going to be workshops and all that sort of stuff on exploring the future of work, wellbeing, innovation, AI, and what it means for WA. So go along to that. They're looking for founders and ideas and all of that.
All right, so if you didn't already get the jokes, today is definitely the first Wednesday of the month. Come down.
Yep, tonight. See you there. Other side of nowhere, West Leederville, 5:30. Awesome. You would have noticed lots of cameras at the back.
It's your
We are
time to shine.
live streaming Morning Startup, and that is available on perthvideo.com.au/Morning Startup Perth with hyphens. It's got all of our past events as well, so check it out if you missed anything.
And we love the team from Perth Video. They support founders, do all kinds of amazing things. So get amongst it if you're looking for someone who makes beautiful, beautiful videos that can promote your startup.
Absolutely. And they are now getting paid for this too, which is awesome, by the Department of Energy and Economic Diversification, or DEED. Can I just say DEED? That's a lot easier. They're providing grants. So they've got the Innovation Booster Grant if you're in the idea stage and need some funding to get to the first level, or if you're at that level and you need to scale up, they've got the CBGs, Commercialisation Bridge Grants. A bunch of awards. They've got a website-y thing, Deal Room, where you can search about the startup ecosystem. So
And if your startup is not already on Deal Room, pop it on there. It's a really good way to be recognised, and it'll also help you get found as well.
Absolutely. So thank you, Deed, doing the deed. Now we've got coffee. Who's got coffee and who paid for their coffee? Hopefully no one. Sweet. Well, you are now VC funded. Well done. So
This is why I said it wasn't a comedy show.
all of these old jokes that we just keep bringing up every 2 weeks. We really need some new ones. If anyone's got some new jokes, chuck it on our Slack group.
Please, please.
I got more money from Purpose Ventures than I did out of the grant.
Really? If you haven't heard of Purpose Ventures, they are probably WA's leading VC, biggest
And look at
VC.
their beautiful banner. Isn't it amazing?
So if you're like in that mindset where you're building $1 billion company and you need millions of dollars to get to the next level, then go and hit up the fine folks at Purpose Ventures. They also go to the Perth Video page and check out Derek's talks that he's done before about what they look for and how to make yourself VC ready, all of that sort of stuff. Really good supporters of the ecosystem and Morning Startup. So thanks for the coffee, Derek and Kylie and everyone at Purpose. And we finally got your banner. We found it. It was hiding in the corner over there.
And Beecham Group. So Beecham have been a long supporter of finding and keeping great tech talent in Perth.
So that lasts the distance. Morning, everyone. Sorry, and yes, I am here, Scotty. Sorry, dude. It's been a fun time. Busy. Okay. I always get asked for a quick tip. My tip today is when is a reference, right? So Perth is a village, as we affectionately know it as. We always have clients or hiring managers that call up a mate and go, hey, what's Scotty like? In what context is the big question. So 2 things here. One, guys, just be conscious of when your reference is actually a genuine reference, or are you seeking a character reference, right, of sorts. It's very different from a work reference. So explain the context and the reason. My always tip for you too is if you can complete a reference check, ideally over VC or video conference, probably. Sorry, is a better way to say it. No acronym, sorry. Is a much better way to do it. And 3, think of the questions that you actually want to ask the person based on the context of you talking to that referee, right? So if they're a peer or a hiring manager or actually their boss, obviously the questions that you're going to ask are going to be very different. Just think about it. So you'll get a much better reference. And please, for God's sakes, do reference checks.
100%.
Sage advice.
go through their list of experience and what they haven't put as a reference. Dig into those ones and then try and find their boss and have a chat to them if you can.
It's also
Or is that creepy?
I think yeah. Well, this is
You get a more realistic kind of.
is to think about context. Is what people do in one situation is different to another. Give me the mic.
Sorry, guys. It's context 1, 2, and in good old tech speak, it's patterns. Right. So what you're looking for is consistency of patterns all the way through your hiring manager, all the way through your hiring process. Right. From the minute that you've spoken with someone or they've applied, all the way through right to the end. And you're finding the reasons, one, to hire, but almost more important, in fact, probably more importantly, all the reasons not to hire, right? So don't fall in love with a candidate, fall in love with the reasons of what they can do for your clients, right? It'll reframe how you think.
There's a lot to hiring, so if you don't want to do it or be asked, then hit up Glenn. He knows his shit.
All right, and Sarah, did you want to give a brief intro?
I do. Thank you. I'm Sarah Mitchell. I'm the founder of Typeset, and one of the things that we do is help people write award submissions. And I want to let everybody here know there's 2 awards in WA that are open right now that have startup, small business, micro business categories. One is the WA Business Awards through the Business News, and you do not have to be in Perth. So if people are watching this on live stream, it's all across WA. The other one is the Australian Institute of Management Pinnacle Awards. Both of them are really good programs. Now, the WA Business Awards, those submissions close on the 11th of September. So you've got some time, although I encourage people to start early. The Pinnacle Awards close at the end of this month. So if you think you've got a great company and you're doing something different, back yourself, put yourself out there. You don't need to be nominated. You can self-nominate. So, it's a fantastic time to showcase your business and to see what else is going on in WA.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. And if you need help putting that application together, make sure you hit up the fine folks at Typeset. They can help you.
And if you have any questions, just give me a call. So I'm always happy to mentor people as they go through it on their own as well. So if you don't want help, if you have questions, give me a call.
Fantastic. And thank you for helping us out with the food at the back there. So please dig in, enjoy. Yes, round of applause. Come on, a round of applause. Let's go. Yeah, come on.
Get excited. The tarts look particularly tasty this morning, don't they? I shouldn't be talking about the food and how good it looks for the people on the live stream, should I?
Food. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Ideas to life. Zach's here. Where's Zach? Hey, there he is. Awesome. Is anyone building a physical product in the real world? Oh, we're going to put Zach under the pump. I guess every other sponsor's done their own plug. You have to give a plug now.
So was anyone, any founders building physical products? Sorry, missed it. No one? Yes? Very good.
Not yet.
Well, if you are, feel free to chat. So we take your idea, as it says, or your homemade prototype or your sketch and help you actually take it through to prototyping, design for manufacture, and then actually manufacturing in the end so you can sell, make money, build a business. We have 30 years of experience manufacturing everything from consumer products through to industrial equipment, etc. So let's talk and we can see if we're a good fit.
Awesome.
I
Hardware
heard
is
that
hard.
make money. Did you hear that? Make money. I like that. Not just build a product. There's make money.
Actually
That's
get
the
money
magical
out of it.
part of this.
100%. Yeah. So make hardware less hard with Idea to Life. Thanks, guys. And they're also helping us out with the food. So, yeah, thanks very much. And, of course, Space Cubed for giving us this wonderful space to connect every 2 weeks. Make sure you subscribe to Startup News, become a member of Startup WA, and check out the +8 Accelerator to become a better entrepreneur, all of those cool things. And this QR code takes you to...
And it now works
the
too.
innovation ecosystem. Yeah, it works.
It works.
There's a little co-pilot chat feature, so you can say, I'm in ag tech, and it will take you to the right sort of group or accelerator or program that can help you out in WA. So it's a great resource that they've put together. And yeah, you can get your own company on the innovation ecosystem website as well. Check it out. What?
What's wainnovationecosystem.com?
That's where the QR code takes you. That's the website that...
I got that.
It's a navigator run by Mesh Points. So it is all of the different parts of the ecosystem, which Scott is bringing up. Lots and lots of stuff. It's a source of truth for finding who's who in the zoo, because there's so many different programs and support available for startups now. We couldn't cover them in the short time that we've got here. So you can see lots of different members to poke through and have a look at.
That's right, and I just claimed the Morning Startup organisation last night, so hopefully we've got control over that now, so we weren't coming up. So there, check it out. It's awesome. Get in touch with us. We've got a Slack group. Scan the QR code and join the Slack group if you want to have a conversation in between morning startup events.
And if you want to be social, we're most active on LinkedIn, but we occasionally post on Facebook as well as Instagram.
Very occasionally. Whenever
Very
you can.
occasionally. If anyone wants to help with social media, reach out.
Cool, and this is coming up in 2 weeks' time. I guess we all have to deal with this at some point in our startup lives, is how we're holding customer data, how we share that data, if we do, who's processing it, all of that. Really, really fun stuff. And I've got to say, I've known Peter for a while, and she does make this stuff fun. So come along and have a listen to what they're going to talk about. It's all about bringing privacy into the world of AI. So I've just been through this. We're using AI models to send quite confidential customer information to see if it's good or bad and things, and just communicating that back through to the customer and making sure it's all in region. And yeah, it's fun. So come along. That should be.
And there's been a lot of, this is the first time I've seen this on a slide. I've seen the emails back and forwards about this and did not get the acronym there.
Chat GPT.
So thanks for highlighting that for us, Scott.
Yes, very clever. Well done. Also clever. Yeah.
This is our formalities done.
Formalities, people. All right. Yay.
It's a low bar, Jesse.
I think we'll welcome you. Yes, you can't do anything wrong after that fantastic intro. So Jesse's been a friend of Morning Startup for many, many years, probably since it started in 2012. He's been growing a company. He's grown many companies over his time, but KeepSpace is the one that is continuing, and hopefully continuing well after Jesse is done with it. So that's what he's going to talk about today, how to build a business that outgrows you as the founder, how to build the culture and the team. And he's known for just being super candid, getting into numbers, all of that stuff. So I am looking forward to this. Please make him welcome, Jesse Emia.
All right, guys. This presentation I've done a couple of times. It was in a couple of countries, and I thought I'd just give the speed version of this because it's a very soul-bearing talk. You're going to see all my fuck-ups really well, and hopefully some valuable lessons that when you guys come into them yourselves, you can kind of learn through. So it's, as a summary point, well, look, just about me. I've ran 3 startups, and 2 were really bad, and 1 worked out really well. And so even though I've been doing this for 16 years now, first one was a wedding dress business down in South Perth, right across the Como Bridge. Retail, bought that one, sold it, lost a lot of money, 150,000. Started Koala Box, which then was from a ground zero sort of perspective, and that worked out pretty well, but it was a walking dead, never got past 50 grand in a year. So then pivoted the assets into KeepSpace, and I've been doing that since 2016. That's what it looks like financially. So I bought the business, the first one, like we do. We buy a business, can you look at the P&L and it looks good. Realized I didn't like importing wedding dresses, so that died pretty quick. Started something else, didn't do too well. And then when I pivoted to KeepSpace and made in that first year the same amount as the next one, it then just took off. And so after a lot of years and a lot of work, I learned how great startup life is like. So I'm coming here to say that I've been sitting here, I've been here in this position, I just thought it's worthwhile to always be part of the community because I know how to eat shit really well. So Right now, you're going to see lots of QR codes, so you're welcome to take photos for reference points because it's better than having a reference link. Run KeepSpace. KeepSpace does about 4.3 million right now. It's about 22 people. We have ClearCount, which is technically KeepSpace Solutions, and it's a software platform for technically inventory management. There's Perth and there's Melbourne. We work around 60 different e-commerce companies around the planet. They do about 50 million in trade. And we reinvest a lot of our profits, all of our profits, I don't make a profit, into R&D. So just to stay ahead of the game. Because I can't win over my competition with assets, so I have to win over with tech. And it's an ongoing build-up. So the whole reason for this talk I thought would be helpful is more just to tell you how this game of business has been played for me, and then how you could then maybe take some nuggets out of it and maybe apply it to stuff, or say, Jesse, you're full of shit. I don't fucking talk about it. That's the two secrets of the talk. This one is more about the emotional side of things, because as you know, all of us as founders, we're broken humans with a chip on the shoulder that's got something to prove, and that's why we're all here doing this. And that's really what that's all about. But then the other side is more around the technical components of actually how to implement the practices. And so I'm going to just bounce between these two real quick while we got the timer. Yeah, so let's do that. Cool, 30 minutes, sweet. So the core structure is I've taken bits and pieces from about a whole bunch of books, mentors of mine, not mentors, business guys and stuff who I've found inspiration from. One of them that is a big leading component might be Simon Sinek, Stevie Jobs, and actually dudes from this room who've already pissed off and gone, made a lot of money. But effectively it's vision, project, workflow, and people. Vision is the concept of what you believe in, right? You believe in something, you have a North Star, you have something you're aiming for that you think is really, really cool. Then the projects are the segments of things that you're going to build, like that facility, that software, that app, that new segment into a synchronized component. And that's usually the stuff we talk about each other with, like, oh, look at my app, look at my product, look at my website. That's the project stuff. The workflow is how you implement the project to become a reality, like hierarchy, business model structure, flat business structures, open transparency books, all that kind of stuff. And then the people who then would implement the workflow that you would be building, and what kind of personalities you want in your business that you're growing the company to be. It's technically what it is. So to break this down for me, my visionary segments as I was a military guy, served in the Australian Defence Force, then became a missionary with YWAM for like 2 years. So I learned discipline and then empathy, and then hanged out a lot with these guys and tried to implement these 3 elements, which were a big component to me, and build this missionary statement, which is to be, and I took this, if you've recognized the picture of Walter Mitty, to be the bridge between people, to draw closer, to know, and to care. That's technically my vision for the business. How that happens is very malleable, right? But that's effectively what I believe is the best way to go. Now for me, projects was like this. Do 250,000 orders, right? A year. Build a picking application to make it more efficient. So how to build the app. And then build a platform application so that my businesses can look at it and while they're on the go, make it convenient. There's a platform picture in it. This is we only released this like a week ago. No, sorry, 2 weeks ago on the App Store, which was really cool. And the projects is like what you're doing. You're making projects all the time to make your business more successful. You're always, at the beginning, you're working on your first one and just trying to figure that out, right? But then once you've figured it out, there's going to be another one. And then another one. And then a version 3. And then a version 7. And then you realize your versions are shit, so you start again with another one. And then the workflow. I've chosen from a workflow is Measure What Matters from John Doerr. John Doerr is a super cool guy. He's the dude that invested into the Google boys right at the back in the day. That's his book, if you're interested. No, those are references if you think the concept is really good. If you're working through your business and you're still working out, how do I work with my people? How am I going to how can I even get a person to join me? Like, these are really good mental structures that can help you work through whatever project you're trying to do, whatever app you're trying to get to. It's actually pretty decent stuff. Took me about 4 years to get it right. Quick theory on this. OKRs is the main objective of the John Doerr approach of measuring what matters. Has anyone heard of this thing before? Sweet. Has anyone not heard of it before? Sweet. All right. Just for those who haven't heard about it, OKRs is objectives and key results. Objectives is like the thing you're trying to achieve, and key results, in short, is technically measurable points. They are not KPIs, right? They look like KPIs, but they're not KPIs. They're like an improved version of KPIs. So read the book, scan the QR code if you want to find out more reference of that. Really, really helpful stuff if you want to work on achieving that application or goal you want to go through. Sometimes it needs a little bit more, so just an advanced component of it is that you can take existing OKRs and you can cascade them down and sort of develop on that. The reason I'm showing you this is because I'm going to show you a physical example of my OKRs in the slides ahead. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, okay. John Doerr, check it out. So then finally is the people part. This is the hardest part. Getting people to join you on your fucking crazy vision to make something happen in the world. Really hard. But if you can master it, you're set. And my 3 components that I could probably share with you is, yeah, I really think Simon Sinek's infinite game mentality is super solid. Transparency metrics, something I learned from cafes, sharing the books openly with the group. Very controversial conversation, but I'll show you anyway. And then actually bring in a sense of humility into business so that innovation can be established without fear of people in your team to express their opinions without you smacking down over your insecurities. So that's a quick summary. Again, if you want to see the other talk, you can go more into that there. So from the technical component of this, I'm going to share with you how those segments of this is done on a yearly basis. Okay? So the annual cycle. The annual cycle that I do in KeepSpace to get us to where we are now on our way to our 10 mil spot and beyond myself is structured into this annually. Thankfully, we're right on time on the date. So in this time, this month, I'm going to go through a financial review of the business. I'm going to look at the annual salaries of everyone in the team, look at the OKRs from what we've done, and then do a internal-external SWOT analysis review. It's a lot of work, but welcome to the grind. So after that's done, we set it all up, and then we run. We run for the whole year. Look at the quarters, talk to the teams, mentor the team members through their stuff that they're dealing with, make them better, make sure it works out, reflect and review, pound it out again. So just through the first part. We share our financial statements because what I found is that I have a problem with salaries, paying my people. You know, like you think you got a problem when you're first just trying to figure out how to pay your first guy. It doesn't go away. It just gets bigger with more zeros at the end. So what I found for myself, I could not at the beginning pay full market rate salaries. So the only way that I used to achieve that challenge was to say, look, this is how much I've got. This is how much is coming in. This is a long journey. I can afford this much. We can talk about shares, or we can talk about something else. You know, you can do different, you can slice that pie how you want. But I found that the transparency cuts the bullshit, cuts right down to the core, makes you humble, and it lets your team know, all right, he's risking as much as I am. I can work with that. And then you start off. That hasn't really left throughout all the years. It's just gotten bigger. Gets harder once you can pay market rate salaries because then corruption can kick in. People who might talk to Glenn and say, hey man, I don't want 200,000, buddy. And then this other guy's making 60K, hard thing to discuss. You show this stuff, wipes that right out. Sorry, dude, everyone's gonna see how much you make. Oh, what do you mean? No, this is just private conversation. No, everyone's gonna see it. And when you do that, you got nowhere to hide, everyone's on the same playing field, and you get a fairly respectable approach. And then at the beginning of the year, we wipe that up. I wiped out all the names because I didn't fucking know you guys, but everyone else is there. So you can see how much, this was 3 years ago, how much the market salary was, how many years they've been in the business, how long they've been there, what country they're from, and shows it through. Sometimes the real big challenge is when you get your overseas people, they're like, oh, I make so little compared to you guys. This is all AUD numbers as well, and then the percentage of increase against this. This is and then put up the annual increase over the year. This just deals with the crap really quick, and I found it really helpful to sort of set them up. And also when you're doing your books, right, and you're growing your business, and you get to that point where you start crossing over, you know, getting close to 300,000 and stuff, you can still do that on a because your salaries might be about 30% of your income on average. So if you go like I don't know, your first 100,000, then there might be 30 grand at the bottom. Get 300K, gets 100 grand. Gets a couple mil, you sort of figure out where that goes. And that way you can figure out your budget as you're going through, which means as you guys are as founders, you should be getting better at your books. It's fucking important, guys, if you want to make it. That was the year after, so you can sort of see that it's a progression. And I got to make my new one, but it's literally just started. But you can see like everyone's percentages sort of change and flip through. You can ask me questions anywhere along the presentation if you want. It just sort of helps make sure I'm on point. Yes, ma'am.
So you just raised the issue. You've got people working in different countries. How do you have that conversation with somebody in the Philippines that says, hey, the guys in Australia are making 4 times the amount that I am for the same job?
We chose not to do, no offense, the American way and just exploit the market where you try to match them to economies because they don't have to pay that living standard.
Yeah.
So when you have a clarity of the living standard, it makes it easier. And the best way to do it is during the hiring process. And so this is what I'll usually give to anyone that wants to join. You put out your ad, you know, put out your advertisement to your person that you want to fill the role. And then I'll say, look, I'm going to offer you this much this year. But then I'm going to offer you this much next year and the year after. So you're solidifying, and this is great for introverts. Introverts are like the best people, but they are the worst at asking for a pay rise. So just remove it away. Just give it to them. Don't be a dick. Just give it to them. Set the expectations of your promises and fucking keep them. It's really good. So then once you've done that and they've agreed to it, that's not a problem. Because it's like, well, actually, I agreed to that, so I can't really complain. Because, you know, I'm doing all right compared to my sisters and brothers and where I live. So that kind of worked out well. And they can see their own increases. Now, obviously, that's the base rate. Some of them might have health cover in that country, some don't. Sometimes you put the whole amount in. It's different. And it's not even my idea, guys. This was from the Australian military website from 2024. You got your privates, your sergeants, your officers. They do this themselves. So this concept has been around for decades. I just implemented it into a business format in something that we do already. So I can't even take the credit. If you want to check out the defenceforce.gov.au. I'll tell you all about it. All right, the next part is the internal external SWOT analysis review. So every year, because of the OKRs that are implemented, we want to ask and be in touch with the ground piece because sometimes we get a bit tunnel visioned in something we want to do and forget that Lucy is struggling on just this little thing on the side here. But we're like vision focused, building something cool, trying to convince everyone of what the fuck we're doing, but something really simple is breaking over here. We have no eyes on it. This is a really good place to give the voice for those people to be able to express themselves, and then for us to just technically just sit down and look at the mirror at ourselves, at our own challenges, and action what they need. The approach of it is 4 sections. It's not really like a SWOT analysis. It's too easy to say that. This one's really like explaining 4 different areas. How we're really good at things, and it's all the identification. And most of it is from everyone in the team, not yourself. So if it's just you and like 2 people, you can still do this, but you gotta be like one of the teammates. You can't be the leader. It's really, really hard to do, I know, but you gotta try. Positive internals, everything you're good at. Positive externals, every opportunity that you can take advantage of. Identifying them. Negative internals, say everything you're shit at. That list is the longest. So long. Everyone always has something to bitch about. And then negative externals, chuck it a tariff on everything. That, like everything you can't control. Then after they've exempt everything and shared it, it's like, great, You know, like those people like Negative Nancy's like, this one doesn't work, this one doesn't. Why have we got no money? Like, great. How the fuck are we going to fix it? Flip it around. Thank you for identifying the challenge. What is your solutions? And change the mindset. They put down all the same things across the same 4 areas, and then you end up with a big thing. Again, extroverts can sometimes take the lead in the conversation. You don't want them to always do that. You want your introverts who have thought very deeply about this problem for 6 months, but hasn't said anything. That's the one you want. How do you get that out of that person without them feeling embarrassed and dealing with the problem of an introvert discussion? We did it this way. So we put out Post-it notes. Very old school, works a charm. We sit around the room and say, hey guys, all right, put it all through. As you can see on literally the screen, this happened last year at this time, showed the financials, which is on the screen. After that, we went through, had a look at the OKRs, and then they started putting on, and we went through the piece by piece. This works really well in a local scenario. You just have coffees and tea, get some food, sit down for a couple hours, pound this out. Super easy. After you've done it, you put it through. If you're working through the segments, then you just sit down, talk, just ask them what they want. And then they literally just write down the pieces, stick it on the board, and then you're getting your ideas, you're getting your thoughts. The team is speaking to you without speaking to you, you know, which is really helpful. So after they've done a whole bunch of these and all these notes are in, you've got a full board of everything that's sort of set to go. This is the Melbourne team, the Perth team. I found doing it locally helps. But if your team's overseas, you can still do it too. We used Miro, okay? So you get on Miro, you get on a chat, you put the notes at the base, you've lined it out, and everyone's just talking through their parts. You add in their sections, you give them space to talk. This is not a fast thing to do. Once you've get all this together and you've put it in a way where they're quite comfortable, then you put it all together and you've got a really good reflection of yourself and they feel heard. Oh my God, do they love feeling heard? But now, after being heard, you have to prove to them that they're worthy to be in your team by you doing the leadership thing and do what the fuck it says while trying to still make the vision. So you gotta like light it up. That's hard, because sometimes you want to ignore them like, nah, fuck you guys, I'm doing this. Later. Come on, hurry up. I'm paying you, bitch. Nah, you don't want to do that. You want to be like working like an expedition on a path. And your slowest dude, you got to bring them along at where they're at. So this is what we did. This was the year before, I think. We wrote down a spreadsheet, put all the pieces down, all the teams, all their parts. As you can see, like all the things they're really good with, like good culture, marketing's better, good systems, blah, 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 blah. Snacks. Everything negative. It's a maze upstairs. Inbound checklist is bad. Lack of clarity for some users. Risk management, poor money, not enough pallets. Low on cash levels. Perth versus Melbourne attitudes. Us versus them. Still a thing. Line goes down. This is the remote team's point of view. They shared all the things that they're interested in, and the negatives keep coming down. So then it's the how part. Like, how can, after recognizing it, what do you think we could do about it? And then they share. Oh yeah, I think we could do this. Play more game sessions. Have more food. Better sales OKRs. Maintaining good communications. Clean the fucking warehouse. Cash reserves. Get better cash reserves. Reduce personal online attachments. Better time management. 4 people thought that was a good one. So and then you're like, we can get stuck in our heads with the solutions, but you'll be surprised how many of your teammates can actually reflect really good valid points. It's just working in a way that makes us better as leaders to find that listening point, to be able to express that and hear that, while giving them the freedom and the trust that they're not going to get burnt if we've given you an idea. And that's only done by you guys. Okay, now there's a software system, then I plug all this shit into it. It's called Profit.co. QR code's up in the top right-hand corner if you're interested about platform. There are cheaper versions out there that you can get out there. I think it's Week Done. It's one of them. These are the OKRs we set up for 2026, for this financial year that's just finished. So we set up how much money we're going to aim for, how much debt we wanted to bring it down to, how many orders we wanted to do, how many people we wanted to build up to, all that stuff. Sales, marketing, operational projects, put it through. Stick it in, and you run the race. And the idea was that each one of those, we tried to then set up meetings. Now, we weren't perfect at the meeting timings, I admit. I probably only saw half of them. Wasn't that great. Really bad on the timing of meetings. But the ones that we did try to keep routinely was with the leadership one at least, so that they would be able to talk to their teams. When you're having yours, if you just do one a week check-in, it does help to keep you in check with the things you want to work through. Now, if you're working by yourself, it's also a good check-in for yourself as well if you just go in solo. Then the problem is as well is each OKR or each component, it's meant to be a growth tool for what the stage you're at to get to. And what usually happens is you get uncomfortable because you have to grow into something that you have not yet ascertained as your own. It's a new skill set. It's a new mentality check. That is probably the hardest part of being in this world as a business guy. And if I could give you a serious point, actually, as a CEO, you think a lot of us will come in here like, I'm going to give this CEO thing, I'm going to give this entrepreneur thing a crack. I'm going to do it for like 2 years. I got this money on the side. I'm going to give it a go. If it doesn't work out in a year, I can get the job. Just get the job, man. Fuck off. Because you're not going to make it. Okay? It's a waste of time to think like that. You will not make it in a year. You will make it, maybe, if you're lucky, in 5. If you don't have the endurance for 5, you shouldn't do this. Trust me, you shouldn't do it. It's so hard, okay? It's so hard. But if you really have a big enough chip, or if you really want to believe in something, you think you can do it, just know it's an expedition that's going to be probably 20 years of your life. And if you haven't thought that way, you haven't lined out you haven't done the whiteboard check to figure out how old you are, how old you're going to be at 20 years, how much of that after you've done it at 20 years, if you've made it, like, if you haven't thought the long game, and like what that looks like, and I know some of you guys are laughing because you know what the fuck I'm talking about, it's hard, then you know that if you're not serious about it, it's not worth it. It's so much easier to just get a job and just drain it out because it's not worth it. But then anytime you think about it, you're going to live with the regret. So then you have the choice, like, do I live with the regret of never doing it, or do I give it a crack? The regret is bigger than the effort of trying, I think, because then you have to deal with all this stuff here and here, and it's hard. And so what I'm sharing with you is the mechanisms of what I used to deal with this stuff here and here. And you grow as a person, and you're better for it, I think, personally, hopefully in your relationships and with your team, and hopefully if you're smart enough with your finances. So after all that being said, sorry, I'll get back on track. Once you've done these things, you then have a reflection of it. So just from a technical perspective, what an OKR looks like as these parts as true examples, I'll break into a couple. I'll do a simple one, financial targets, okay? We wanted to generate, the objective was to generate $5 million, right? To make $5 million, I had 2 vehicles to achieve that target. A warehouse in Perth, a warehouse in Melbourne. Just to be clear on the example of how it makes money. It is a service-based business that puts products from different e-commerce companies into the facility. We then integrate into their websites as an online business. They make the sales online. We get the order, we distribute the order, we charge them the shipping, and we charge them the handling, and a little bit of software management on site. That's how the money comes in. We then extrapolate how much each year that has done. So as you see, the Melbourne one did 160,000 in 2023. Then it did 1.2 million 2024. Now it's at 1.86 million in 2025. So it started small, guys. You can do it at a little level. The Perth one was 2.5, 2.6, 2.1, 1.8. It flowed! What happened? Technically, there's a little bit of cannibalization that happened there. So that's what you're seeing. So, the idea was then, all right, I have a problem that I need to address. How can I make this one grow and stop this one from bleeding? So then you start to recognize, now this might be a stage 3 or 4 from where you are, but just the concept as you then have to just try and figure out, okay, I have to improve the marketing for West Australia, but also just continue the scaling of the Melbourne side. Kind of natural effect. Can I do any other objectives that can support this objective so that it relates into a network? oh yeah, this is just what it looks like internally. So it's showing you the trajectory of how that's going. Our bookkeeper was keeping the tracks on the numbers, and it's just checked in every week. What I did is, all right, to achieve the financial goal, I'll do the service goal. The service goal is 75 businesses. If I can get 75 businesses, then I can work through. And then you can see, 2023, there was 53 of them. 24, there was 55. 2025, there was 56. So it's kind of like paced. So it's really been the growth of the businesses. So therefore, for me to achieve these people, I have to make more online content. I have to spend money on ads. I have to get a certain amount of leads that come through. I have to convert those leads by a 30% ratio. This is stuff you learn in marketing, right? You guys know this. You'll hear other presenters talk about marketing specifically. All I'm doing is I'm just laying it out as a plan. Then, if you can do that, achieve the actual turnover of the business arrangement. I have particularly in mind a bit of churn, and so have to adapt with the churn with the leads. My lead conversion is always not too bad because I'm not an outbound marketing guy. I hate getting on the call and say, hey, do you want some KeepSpace services? You know, oh, you don't? Oh, well, say goodbye. I can't do that. It's really hard. So I'd rather just be online and be very inbound market process kind of thing. Like, check this out. You could do this. You could do that. Oh, you want to? Okay, yeah, cool. Send me a lead. I'm a bit of a pussy when it comes to that. Then once your leads come through, then you got a marketing strategy, and then you got a sales pipeline, blah, blah, blah. You put all that together, and then hopefully you achieve this target, which then will achieve that target. And so your targets come through. Now, this is the really beautiful part. Through the year, as you're going, some of us, no, let's not lie, all of us in this room will say, we want to do this. Something goes wrong, naturally. And then we say, you fucked that up. It's your fault. And then we have to be like explaining why I didn't get this because it was your issue. But then this person over here is like, it wasn't my issue. I just couldn't get this part done, which means you couldn't do your part. Don't give me excuses for why you couldn't do that. That's not how it works like this. You're fired, blah, blah, blah. That's usually how it goes down in business, right? What it is this now sort of lays a playing field where it's like, whoa, you fucked that up. Why did you fuck that up? Well, you wanted that part, so that part came with a new feature. That feature needed to be built. We didn't have it. It doesn't exist. So we just spent the last 6 months making it so that it can come through. Why did it take you so long? You got no money, bro. So I was like, oh, yeah, that's a good point. We should probably take some money from this. Oh, wait, don't take that money. We need that money to do this other part. And then you're like, oh, okay, let's talk about this. And that's usually what happens. You'll have, now you can do that in a group of 3, and it doesn't change when you get to a group of 30. Same thing, just more voices. So the thing is like, if you have an understanding of all the different challenges, the good thing is that it's not so good if you're going to be a founder to be fast to judge with anger. You have to judge because we don't have the time to get all the information to make an assessment. And if you take too long to make the assessment choice, you're hesitant for too long, you miss the opportunity. But when you make the judgment calls, the point is that you've given the opportunity for people to, is this aligning? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Is this connecting with you guys? Cool. This is just a really nice, chilled conversation. I'm not trying to drone you guys, but the point I guess I'm trying to say is that while you're building the business and you're working with your team, it's something that is difficult for us to listen to your teammates with the empathy that they need without you just running to the you're fired, you're shit, get the fuck out of my life kind of thing, but going to more like, okay, yeah, you're right, I had an issue here, I didn't really complete that part, how can we do that, and like working through it. Because if you get really good at doing that and that conflict resolution, then you're actually a lot faster to actually achieve the goals you want. The harder part is then you teaching that skill to your teammates and then passing that on without them feeling the concern of getting lost from their own teammates and getting embarrassed. Here's one thing I wanted to show on this, which is pretty good for a startup structure. This financial year, we wanted to implement a new function, which was how to set up a nice, clear way to do customer support inquiries and do a metric on that and then charge money for it. We had no data, don't know. So we thought we can charge it. So we'll run it for 6 months based on the different inquiries and collect the data. When you're doing your business in the beginning, when you're at zero in the room, data is more important than money. So I know you're not going to like this, but get a part-time job, okay? Like I worked for, I think it was OBS, working with kids after school care for like a year, getting paid very, very little while doing this. You should, if you do work for someone, honor the person you work with. Don't be a cunt, okay? Don't try and talk about how shit their job is or whatever it is because you've got this cool plan to make something happen. Honor the place you work at because they're the ones that are supporting you to make this happen. Sometimes we get into a mental thing like, I can't wait to lose my job so I can do this thing full time. It's gonna be the best. Nah, you gotta kind of run it in tandem. And I know that's really hard to say, but I just wanted to, I know what it's like when you're trying to get something off the ground. Why did I get on that tangent? I don't know. All right, I'll come back. Anyway, I digress. Effectively, you put in the data and you're building, that's right, yeah, because when you're poor and you've got no money coming in for 6 months, you want to just get straight into it. If you can get the data, which is the value, then the data will actually start the income. And the value comes from the data that you've collected, and you need to do that for free, sadly. Once you've done it and you've got enough of it and you pound it out, then you start making the money. Now we make about $3,000 a week from this data that we've collected. And that's kind of it. So I'll just summarize it all up because we're almost out of time. Financial review, annual salary, OKRs, internal SWOT analysis, combined into the OKR profit.co system, reflect and mentor and grow with the new data points that come through, repeat the cycle. And do that for 20 years. And then you'll be a multimillionaire. Yay! Any questions?
I'll do a roaming mic. You got plenty of questions? All right. Well, let's fancy. You were first.
So my question is, you outsource the international workforce, and my business comes into where I actually solve that issue, because most of the companies outsourcing their workforce from the overseas, and that's where the data leaks are happening. It's not complying to Australian Cyber Security Act and Privacy Act. Some of the workers.
Are you self pitching me, bro?
I'm just asking how you guys there's some architectures to avoid that. So when you hire people, how you make sure data is not leaking? So that's where I believe most of us might get spam calls or spam emails.
Sales, the CTO lives in Australia. Mm-hmm. The external team members don't have full access to the database from Amazon Web Services. We release out certain projects, and that deals with the challenges. And as trust is built over time, more access is provided.
So what about
5 years?
Admin staff? So admin staff, they can work from home, or they are coming to our office, or that means they have direct access to the data, whatever you provide.
The data is not really that. Look, I know everyone's going to throw around data is the most important thing. Don't fucking pivot to it. It's bullshit. Honestly, it's from my perspective. Now, for you guys who are super in an industry that is probably relevant, it probably is. Mine, it's not that relevant. What, from my perspective, is I use Slack, so there's the access point there. We have an admin system which has no access to the data backend. So what, they're going to steal some order lines from some customer hands? Big deal. And then there's a couple other external systems. So it's not an isolated thing. With the microservice systems, it's which access they give, and then the role structure is sweet. So they can work anywhere. It's the hiring process, which Glenn can help you with, over building trust and integrity.
Other questions?
Thanks so much. So through all the shit years and through KeepSpace, for this audience of people who are just starting out, what are the first 3 things that you would recommend them to do to maximise their chances of success?
For the team that joins?
No,
for them?
No, for the founders. When they're starting a new business, because you've started 3, what are the first 3 things that you think you would do if you were setting up a new one?
Get to your first $500,000. That's sales is number one. Sales is the core of it because then you start to fund what you're trying to do. Now, while you're doing that, you're going to have broken systems everywhere. This is just a cleanup. You're seeing a cleanup from the work I've done. What you want to do is you want to, be a charismatic person. Good luck if you're, if you can. Learn, not hard. Just be likable. Be honest. I'm out of time. I'm going to just steal some more. Is that cool? Yeah. Sweet, bro. Look, just be honest. Show integrity. Make your words stand for it for the test of time. And it really doesn't matter what industry you're going. You could do cybersecurity. You could do AI. You could do whatever it is. If your words mean what your words say and your actions follow what your words do, people will follow you anyway because then you're good. But you got to have a bit of clarity. Can't be too scatterbrained. The biggest problem in the beginning is shiny ball syndrome. Oh, bro, I got this idea. Oh, bro, I got this other idea. And then you look at them all and you're like, oh, that one's 4 years. That one's 10. Oh, that one's 2. You chase this, and you chase. And then you start chasing and you're like, oh, but this other one said this other guy. Try and focus on one ball and just piss off the rest and just zone in and just commit to completing something. Stop sitting in here for years and not doing anything and just talking shit with all the rest of the group. Actually lock in. Because there's some people that I've met in this community that have, no offense, talk a lot, don't achieve a lot. Just, if you want to really get off the ground and really make it, just focus on one thing, bro. Say what you're going to do it, realize it didn't work out, do a little pivot, work on the next thing, just commit and put in an hour or 2 or 10 every day. I hope that's the best way to get started when you're at the ground zero.
Massive fan of the transparency. Just a couple of questions on the salary piece. So the salary increases that you showed, to what extent were those decisions directly linked to the vision and the OKRs? So do they kind of reinforce that? And then equally, the 4-year timeline is amazing, assuming that people perform and are meeting the standards. So I just wondered what that looks like in terms of that ongoing development piece.
It originally was just 3 years, because in a startup, you'd be lucky if you keep him for 6 months. That's, you realize oh well, this guy was so full of shit. He could not do what he said, and then you're on the hunt again. I just found that it tells them very clearly you're in it for the long term, and it gets the remote teams, which is a big struggle for all of us, to stop them from side hustling. When they're side hustling, they're not focused on your thing, because they can't make enough to live off your business alone, so they got to do something else on the side. And you're like, oh, how's the project coming along? Did we do that release? Did you talk to that salesperson? Oh, no, bro, I was helping 3 other people at the same time. And it was he's like, look, it's better to just say, look, I'm going to pay you what you need. I need you to work with me because you've done, 3 interviews with this person because Glenn helped you out. Brother. And then you get there at the end and you're able to then get the work done. You're not worried about salaries. You're not worried about, oh, am I going to feed my kids? Do I need to do a side gig? You just scrap all that and you just focus on the goal. And I found that doing that made that a lot easier to do the business. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but it just worked for me.
Any question? Hang on, we need it for the live stream.
All right. Great talk. Thank you for sharing really good insights. I'm intrigued when you went to Melbourne. Was that you foot on the floor in Melbourne setting it up, or did you try and do it remotely? Was it a hybrid? And was there consequence to your WA operations when you did it?
Look, I had to give a new manager who's never been a manager the management role. I had to jump in the Nullarbor train with the cars. We did a convoy with 3 vehicles. There's a YouTube video about it. Get across to the other side of the country, sleep on a mattress inside the warehouse, rough it, because property was really expensive because COVID, if you remember, May 2022, the Iron Curtain was lifted from our WA borderline and we could cross the border. So I was walking into some really pissed off Melbournese people who'd been locked in their rooms for a while and they did not like outsiders very much. And so I had to deal with that. But in the approach of it, it was like a startup, man. And so for me, I was like, I'm used to rough life, so it wasn't an issue. and just being out of your comfort zone and just doing it again. So I chose not. This is a huge problem. Thank you, just reminding me. I want to talk about this. There is this bullshit lie that everyone's sold in this community that I got to tell you, it's not true. They get to a point where you cross 2 mil and they say, go work remote, go work in Indonesia, go work in Bali, make your dollar stretch. It's the best life. Be nomad and like get an online thing, blah, blah, blah. I hanged out with those guys and it fucking wipes me out. I lost like 150K doing that shit. It's not worth it. So even though like going remote and like going to another place where I was for Melbourne and like roughing it out, there's this concept that when you supposedly you get to a couple million, you think you've made it. And then you start implementing these exercises that other people, I know this is completely off the question, but I really was like, oh, don't forget to say this at the stage. It was like, it's not true. Like going remote and living remotely, because the efficiencies of what you could do here in this city and then like what you can do is more effective than just going outside the country, flying all over the place and being nomadic. But it can seem so attractive. The beach life, sitting on the coastline, sucking on a margarita, you know, like it's really not true. So it's better to just stay in the hustle and just do the work and be a grindy little PG, keep it PG. Just work real hard, yeah. So
I don't know, man. The beach sounds pretty good.
I know. It always does, man. It's great for instant shots, everything.
So we need to wrap this up, but one more question. Cool. Thanks for the talk. One thing that I think I've seen with OKRs is there's a difference between what people put in place as the theoretical thing that will measure success and what they can actually implement and track, and the hygiene of updating them on a week-to-week or month-to-month basis.
Yeah.
What were your challenges in that regard? Did that change what you actually defined as success because you couldn't measure what you wanted to?
In the first year, I was the only one that was doing it because I did not know how to do it. So I was the only one recording the data points. In the second year, I was able to teach 2 other people to do it with me. But I always had to like, hello, don't forget to do that. And it was done either on a fortnightly or a monthly basis. Then I had realized in the second year, it's not working, just reminding them. Because they just, it's like a report, no one cares. They just do it like it's minutes to a meeting. So then then on the third year, I thought I'll bring them together and we'll do a book study. We'll measure what matters as a group, and then did a book report type of thing. That went through, and we did a YouTube sequence, and it's an internal videos to explain like the concept of why we're doing this. So I tried to do the explanation of why. By the third year, it started to sink in a little bit, but it wasn't until the 4th year that everyone, like maybe 5 people had acquired the knowledge and was exercising it at the same pace I was at the second year. So it was like, it's a uni course, but it's yourself with no lectures. That's how it went for me. Yeah, I hope that answers.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jesse. One more round of applause. Love the radical transparency and all that stuff. Toilets, yeah. Who needs the loo? They're down this way. So yeah, up the stairs, or if you want to use the fancy ones without stairs, let me know. I've got a key to get in there. But yeah, that's it from us. Please make yourselves welcome and enjoy the food, enjoy the coffee. Thank you, Purpose, all of our amazing sponsors, and see you tonight at Founder Sundowner and 2 weeks' time for the privacy chat. See you then. Thanks for coming.